I'm Mikey. I'm 19. Grew up here in Milton. I've been here all my life. While growing up, there was a lot of different struggles I had. Was never the super popular kid, and of course, being a little bigger gives me an easy target on my back. So there was a lot of times where I sometimes had no one to turn to and had to revolve to anger, which obviously is not the best thing, but I think it definitely shaped who I am today. Mental health was a big thing for me going up in my teen years. It's a reality that I didn't expect fully coming into this new generation where nobody really understood what mental health was, and now teaching other people about mental health is fun because I've went through it single-handedly and I understand the struggles and somewhat how to deal with them. Sometimes it's still hard because it's crazy, but there's a lot of time where there is struggles. There's a period of my life where I somewhat felt like I didn't really want to be on this earth anymore, but there was always certain people behind me that had my back, and I knew that if anything bad happened to me, it would only affect them worse, and I didn't want to put them through that. So I found the help that I needed. It took a while. It took a long time for me to admit that I needed help, and then it took another few years to admit that I needed to get help and that I went to find the help. I started playing hockey at the age of 4 or 5, and a few years later I was about 9, 10, and I was on this team with this kid named Matt Burns, and he was pretty cool. And his parents talked to my parents and told me about this place called Riesel, and I didn't want to go. So it took me about a month to actually get me out the car and get me to Riesel. But once I was in the building, there was not a time that I didn't want to go back to Riesel. There's people there that just are unbelievable to you. Like, they treat you like they've known you forever and you just met them. They will literally go to the end of the earth for you and back, and you're confused because you don't really know who they are, and you feel like they're acting like they know everything about you. And it just changed my perspective on people, because at that point I'm like, nobody likes me and nobody's ever gonna see me as a good person, so I didn't see myself as a good person. But the light that they reflected on me was, you're the best person ever, and you need to treat yourself like you're the best person ever. So it really changed my perspective on the world a lot through those years. I went to Riesel for almost 8 years now and still don't want to stop going, even though I'm a little over age, which I mean, that's okay, and they're still accepting of me, and I like to help out there as much as I can. I volunteer at Riesel as well because the help that I got changed my life, so I want to portray that onto the next generation and try and help them as much as I can, knowing that the help that I got changed my life. Growing up was a little different than normal for other people. I was in Catholic school, learning about faith that way, kind of being forced to do communion and forced to do reconciliation and these kind of things where it didn't really feel authentic. So my journey for faith kind of got turned off really fast. I started to pursue faith about a year ago. I always believed that there was a God, but I never really looked into like the specifics on what could happen, because I always had some doubt that maybe there wasn't, and maybe there wasn't things that were lies. I would always pray if I was going through something really hard, because I always believed that there was someone out there that could listen to me and hear me. But about a year ago, I was talking to Mike Burns, and he told me that I should come to church one time. So it took me a while to actually admit to myself that, maybe there is something missing, and he noticed that too, and a lot of people noticed that there was a part of me that was missing. So I gave it a go, and I came to Southside, and the community was so just taking. Like, they accepted me right away. Everyone came to get to know me. It took me about a month to actually start listening to the sermons, because at the start I was coming for the community because it just made me feel good knowing that I just met all these amazing people and I can talk to them and just enjoy. But there was a certain point where Andrew was doing a sermon, and then at the end there was the worship song, and I just felt this almost like a breeze. Like, it was kind of surreal, something that comes out of a movie. Like, you just felt this moment, and at that point, whatever struggles I was going through in my life kind of just felt lifted off my shoulders. I felt a lot more fearless and a lot less stress, and I had that realization that God was with me, and through all the struggles that I was going through, or people that I know are going through, he was going to help them as much as he could, and that the path that I was going to walk was going to be alongside of Jesus. And that realization changes you as a person. You really look at life in a whole flip. You realize that you are a child of God, and that he is with you through the thick and the thin. Because there's a lot of good moments and a lot of bad moments, but knowing that he's with me and he's with all of us is just something really empowering about that. Sometimes I look back on my younger years and wish that I had God with me, but I think also I wouldn't be here if I didn't go through what I went through. I think it shaped who I am as a person now, so I'm kind of glad that I went through all the struggle and I got all these scars on my back. It kind of represents who I am, which I kind of like that about myself now. My decision to follow Jesus was not the easiest one, because at that point in time, one of my aunts had cancer, and I would look to Jesus and go, Lord, why would you put someone so amazing through this kind of thing? But then I had the realization about a week later that, it's okay. Like, no matter what she's going through, she's gonna be okay, because he's with her. And it's just an amazing feeling knowing that you don't have to fight through this alone, even in your own feelings, that you can talk to someone, no matter who it is. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to anyone, you can talk to God, because he'll always listen. My faith journey has been amazing, very different than a normal faith journey, but I think that's the amazing thing about faith, is everybody has their own journey, and I'm so elated that mine was this way. I think that without church and without God, I'm a total different person. Baptism to me is the meaning of committing your life to Christ. It's that step towards walking beside Christ. In my journey in life, I'm going to do what I can to be like Christ and make these good decisions. Of course, there's still going to be sin on the way, because everybody sins. But knowing that my sins are going to be watched over and washed away from the Lord is pretty mind-blowing. I find myself praying just to thank God for everything that I have, knowing that although my life might not be the greatest, there's a lot of other people that are going through a lot worse, and that I have it really good. Although I'm going through struggles, they're not struggles that I can't overcome. And I've realized that now. And knowing that I have a church community, just friends that I've made for a lifetime, and knowing that Jesus is with me all through this, wow. Like, it's a wow.